Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we do. This is our review of Married at First Sight, Season 12, After Decision Day.
The reunion.
The reunion.
We can just call it the reunion show.
But the weird part about it is they didn't say how much time. Usually it's supposed to be like 3 months or 6 months or something. They didn't say this time. I'm trying to look it up for y'all in between the show. But anyway, up first is Eric in Virginia. And our prediction was that they was going to stay together but get a divorce by the reunion. But hubby said it's a false positive because we don't know how, like if the reunion is only a month later or 2, then it don't count. Our time hasn't been proven. But anyway, they catching up with them. As you all know, if y'all watched it, Eric proposed to Virginia in front of everybody on decision day. They still together. They look happy overall. Virginia, one of the big fights they had was she didn't want to move in with him. She has moved into the penthouse, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, she did. And he's giving her the guest room for her and her pets. She still think his cat allergy is fake. They didn't get really into the juice. They just leaked out one of their little secret episodes was that before they got married, Virginia had a COVID scare. Other than that, nothing much going on. But again, I'm trying to find out the timeline from decision day until this reunion. Because if they did it in a month or 2, they kind of cheating. Usually, I think it's supposed to be 3 to 6 months down the line, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to see if I can find the timeline while we waiting. You got anything you want to add, little baby?
We just getting into it. It's only been one little segment, so we'll get back to with y'all blow by blow as it happens.
And it looked like they keeping with Eric and Virginia when they come back from commercial break. All right, everybody. So I've always forget what we call these sessions, sequels, whatever it is. So we're back from commercial break number 2. And of course they finished up on Eric and Virginia before they hop over to the next crew. This part of it, they touched on some of the issues that they had, like Virginia calling Eric controlling, and she definitely is taking that back. She's saying she just didn't understand that it was just because he cared, which is what everybody was telling her the whole time. But anyway, and then they touched on her drinking, and she goes, well, maybe I didn't party as much as I thought because I barely do that, right, babe? And he said, So I think that they just put a plan in their mind that after watching the show, how they look bad on the show, that they just wanted to look better, presentable as a couple. Mm-hmm. And they actually invited Eric's mom on there to talk to them and, give them advice or whatever. And of course, the guy who hosts the show was digging, trying to find some dirt to start up something.
Yeah.
But I take it that Eric and Virginia was not having it, okay? They were perfect and pretty and pink. Everything is great. That's how they is acting, you guys. They faking it until they make it, okay? But they are living together. They are still together. But it will be interesting to see when the couples couch come back on, if Eric and Virginia is still together. And then I think Ryan and Claire is up next. Okay, you guys, it's back on. Ladies and gentlemen, we have watched the situationship that is Claire and Ryan. So now the guy kind of said it was 6 months, I guess, since they got married. We thought it was 2.5 months after decision day. But anyway, Claire and Ryan, he just getting to the point where he about to start hitting them with the hard questions. They're very much still married. Claire seems much happier than she did during the show. I guess, removing the cameras has, lightened the mood for them. And Ryan is holding on to her for dear life. Like somebody get ready to steal her, like she on a shelf or somebody about to steal it. The whole time he like this. The whole time. I don't.
They own her.
Like, how you gonna sit like that the whole time? But anyway, they're still together. They are actually planning their vow renewal already. Ooh, fancy. So that sounds like two people that want to stay together. Like I said, the gentleman didn't get to the hard questions yet. He basically just asked Claire about her, her insecurities about the love thing, and she was basically saying, since I read his letter at the wedding before we got married, that cured all my worries. That is not what we seen on the show. But anyway, we'll let them have it. I think this is definitely a case of people watching themselves on TV and trying to clean it up.
Yeah.
Babe, I'm doing all the talking. What you got to say?
I think they finally got busy. I think they finally, but he still hasn't said. It's been 6 months after the wedding, and he still hasn't said "I love you" yet.
Yeah, and the guy is asking him like, "What are you waiting for?"
Oh, he just asked him, Do you love her?"
Yeah, and then of course it goes to commercial break. He gotta love her if he's gonna renew his vows again. I mean, it's common sense, but I think he's just having one of those kid moments where your kid is like, nobody can make me. I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
I think he's just being a brat
Stubborn.
about it.
Stubborn.
Yeah, like, dude. But she's going with it. She's riding for her dude. So, they must have finally, had sex and things was good or something. Yeah. Because other than that, she told him at the table, if he don't say that he loved me in 6 months, I'm out of here. Yeah. Whatever, Claire. But anyway, it's all good. We glad two of the couples that stay together. And it's reunion time and they still together. But let's see if they all still together when Couples Couch come back in a couple months. That is going to be the true test.
Couples Couch.
Yeah, baby. But anyway, see you at the next commercial break. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one who's supposed to be tired. And this one right here, I don't understand. I think he's just trying to hold all his energy. He's waiting for Paige and Chris. Y'all know that's the couple. That's the couple to get him wound up.
They bring me on when you want the main event.
So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we just wrapped up with Ryan and Claire. Kevin is our host name. Kevin Fraser.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Bald head, sir.
So, he's really trying to pry. These guys studied the previous season, so they are not falling for it, okay? They gave him nothing. But anyway, they touched on some of the issues they had, which was that Ryan had never said, I love you. So he kept pressing, do you love her? Do you love her? Do you love her? Do you love her? And finally he said, yes, I love her. He said, man, you just said you love your wife. And she turned around and looked at him and said, you love me? He said, yes, I love you. And then they smooched. But anyway, she was explaining that she already knew, honestly, that he loved her by his actions. And I honestly think that was Ryan's point. He didn't want nobody just, he didn't want to, he studies words and he thinks he's very super, super logical. So I think his issue was he didn't want to just be saying I love you because everybody else thought it was time and blah, blah, blah. But he wanted to prove by his actions that he was, he loves her. So they said it. Woohoo, we finally got the love thing out the way. And then, of course, he jumped right on to the next thing. Did you guys have sex? Neither one of them gave a straightforward yes or no. But since it wasn't a no, we have to know it was a yes, right? So, and Claire is real nice, calm, cool, and collected versus her fidgety, twitching self like she usually do. And, again, and they brought up the fact to ask him, was he a virgin? Now, he was clear and quick about that. No. And he's like, hi, Mom. Which is what I was telling the hubby. Maybe his thing was because his parents are ministers and they probably ministers over a church, he just didn't want to put that kind of look out there. Some people just have a certain level of respect that they don't cross, especially when you're dealing with your parents. Mm-hmm. But evidently, it must have been good because he's holding on to Claire with their life, like, so, like she a snack on the shelf, and he ain't trying to get nobody else. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am tired. But I'm staying up. And I'm watching this live for you guys. Because usually when a girl's sleepy, the recorder catches it. Okay? Mm-hmm. But anyway, So we just did Brianna and Vincent.
Yes, sir.
And we have, and well, I don't know about the hubby. I can't speak for him, but I will speak for myself. Wrong, wrong, wrong. These two are going to stay together because now that the cameras is off, Vincent actually had a moment to calm down.
Yeah, they might make it then.
Yeah.
Because the cameras was his problem.
Yeah, he admitted that he had.
But wait a minute though. That don't take away from his attitude though.
Well, he said it was his anxiety. He actually was fighting his anxiety. So the little explosions we were seeing, and he also admitted that he was being extra sensitive, but it was more based on knowing that everybody was watching him all the time. So, you know, of course, when people watching you, try to hide your imperfections, and his was just spewing out. But they were sincerely happy. He was excited. He brags about his wife being an engineer, and they are talking about getting a bigger house. And Brianna wants babies now. So she said that, you know, that was one of their issues, was her not wanting to move into his small apartment, which she has done, but he rearranged himself so she's comfortable. And they're gonna get a house. But they ended up babysitting his nephew, and she said Vincent actually realized how hard it was. So now he doesn't want the kids, but she does. She says she has baby fever. Anyway, y'all like how I mock everybody with the same voice? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they're doing really well. You guys, I don't think you could paint a smile on as big as Brianna was wearing tonight. She is super happy. You could tell they're sincere. Vincent still don't like the cameras, but he holding it down for the ones and twos.
Holding it down.
And then that was all the issues they had. We was a little worried about their attitude, but Kevin brought up, you know, Vincent's sensitivity. And you know, like I said, he explained it was anxiety and that, you know, he's adjusting. But they seem very sincerely happy. So you guys, we definitely have 2 for sure winners. I'm still not 100% with Eric in Virginia. I think by Ryan, couples cam.
Yeah, so Ryan
and
Claire and Vincent
and Brianna.
Now
Ryan and Claire, they're doing better because, you know, their biggest issues both been solved. The I love you and sex. So they good. You know, because they both, you could tell, were really loyal people anyway. So those little kinks worked out. They good. Brianna and Vincent good. I still don't know about Eric and Virginia. When couples cam come up, we'll see if they still hanging around.
Yeah.
And then you guys, this show is 2 hours and it's part 1. So they're actually going to do a part 2, but there's only 2 couples left, which
you already know what they go. Chris and Paige is going to have the whole
next episode.
Next
not for
2 hours.
2 hours. That's insane.
I think the next one's going to be 1 hour. This is 2 hours and that's going to be 1 hour.
Yeah,
but they're going to do Jacob and them next.
Yeah, Jacob and
then they're going to start off with Chris and Paige, but it's going to end and you got to pick it up next week.
Yeah.
Next week is going to be an hour. It's going to be
how much time we got left? We got like 40 minutes. I'm surprised they stretching this out for 2 hours.
And out of the 40 minutes, 30 minutes is going to be Jacob and Haley. And then 10 minutes of Chris and Paige starting it off to get you warmed up. And then they go stop it. And
all right, it's back on. Let's go. Me and the hubby was discussing how are they going to drag this 1 hour, maybe and a half situation out to a 4 hour situation. But anyway, it's because now they took a little break from the couples, from the 3 couples that stayed together, update, are they still together? Now they're sitting down with the ladies only. And, you know, they're just basically cross-referencing conversations and having them have a little chat. And what came up basically was Haley and Jacob. Now, if you guys watched our reviews, and if you haven't, it's never too late. The videos are still out there. Go watch our reviews. I previously said that I believe the issue with Jacob and Haley was that the sex situation did not work out too well. And Kevin said to Haley, save Jacob's rep and say something. Because he pulled it straight up. Like, it seemed like that's what the issue was. And she said, well, we had no connection, and all the ladies were snickering. So finally, she said, I guess I shouldn't talk about it. So basically, that's what it came down to.
Mm-hmm.
The sex wasn't good for her, so she was done. She tapped out there. And then they touched on Brian and Claire, of course. But of course, Claire is so much more herself. You guys, Ryan is cramping Claire's style. If y'all see her energy with the ladies versus when she's with him, like she's smiley, she's happy with him, but she's trying to adjust to be who he wants her to be. When she's with the ladies, she's just very outgoing and a very fun time. And of course, y'all know Brianna never stops smiling. And then who else was it? Oh, Virginia, she's pretty quiet. She's pretty quiet with the ladies. But yeah, they're just having ladies talk. What else did they come up with? Do you remember? I know that Jacob and Claire was the main thing. Everything else, I believe they already touched on with the couples. So I'm hanging in there for you guys, but I do believe they dragged this out too far. They could have really just went to the
wrapped it all up in
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly 2 hours and a half.
Cause they still gonna have a sit down with all the fellas too.
Yeah. So yeah.
Then they still ain't got the Jacob and Haley.
Or Chris and Paige. So, yeah. But I think that, and we all know that Chris is coming to steal the show next week with all his crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys, this is good, but this is a point in the movie where they should go ahead and just kill the bad guy, but they still let him keep coming back to life. Mm-hmm. This is the moment, okay? But as long as this rolling, I will keep rolling too. All right, guys, so we'll be back on the next commercial. So, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, y'all see that. I got left, okay? And I just have to hold down the fort for us all, okay? But anyway, so, we're at the next commercial break, and they are still talking to the ladies and catching up on lady things. They ain't talking about nothing too much. They just having chit chatter. And it's about the ladies went on a trip to Mexico together, and they were catching up about that. Claire didn't go for whatever reason. Anyway, and then Kevin, of course, I told you guys, he has been trying to dig up the dirt, okay? And they are not one of them is falling for it. So his thing was, how did the ladies feel about Paige and Chris, and Paige going back to Chris? And my girl Claire don't play about hers, okay? She broke it down for the brother real simple. She said, listen, evidently he's been engaged and multiple women go back to him. He knows what to say. He knows how to get into women's hearts and minds. So there is no fault on Paige. And I like this. She's had her back. And Kevin, I know he just trying to make the show good. He trying to be the hostess with the mostest. But you guys, they are not falling for it, okay? And I think Paige appreciated Claire jumping in to save her. And the ladies are just chit-chatting it up and giggling. Like I said, they went to New Mexico. They already planning their next trip. They brought up Virginia. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm trying to switch my mind to everybody's name and trying to remember everything we watch. But they talked to Virginia about, she was saying she needed her space. And he was asking all of them how they feel about needing their space. And they pretty much all agreed that they all do need space to some degree. But the one who is most vocal about it, of course, is the one who's single, which is Haley. That was the problem. She wanted too much space. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the next commercial break. It looked like they're still going to try to touch on Chris and Paige before the show goes off. And y'all know how they do. They're going to leave us with a cliffhanger. That's the only reason why we're tuning in at this point, because everything is great. Great follow-up. All the 3 couples are still together. The other 2 couples are gladly separated, except for Chris and Paige. Poor Paige. I hope that she get a book deal or something off of all this drama that is going on in her life. Seriously, that everybody's taking advantage of on in television world. All right, guys. So I will be back next commercial break because I'm going to hang in there for y'all and put this 2 hours worth of video in. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, it just went down in the DMs. We knew they was gonna do this though. We knew this. They could have slid Jacob and Haley in here and completely held Chris and Paige for last. But I guess they just trying to prove us wrong that they not holding the worst for last in this case, or the most exciting for last. But anyway, when I tell you my boy Kevin is not playing, he is trying to dig all up underneath everybody's skin. So anyway, he didn't go to bed, y'all. He is still around. He just floating around doing other things. Anyway, so they talked about Chris said he apologized. You know, they did go to counseling to try to mend their relationship, but he realized he was too immature for her. And Kevin said, "You got the best, rehearsed answers ever." And then he was disrespectful and played the part where Chris was talking to Pastor Cal about Paige's face. He didn't like her face. And evidently she never seen that. So, of course, that was hurtful. And then he tried to ask them why did they continue to have sex. And Chris was like, no sex talk. No sex talk. So Paige was like, oh, I would rather let that go. Blah, 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 blah. So he's still very much controlling her. That was not a decision. I think she was going to answer until he said what he said. I think the hubby called this. That she's basically is going to be his forever late night creep booty call, she got some sort of soul ties or something going on with her, with this guy. And it's just uncomfortable to watch. And he is just as manipulative today as he was the last time. So, ladies and gentlemen, my other half has returned. Anyway, y'all knew that they was going to do us dirty with the cliffhanger, right? So, right in the mid of the grit of the argument, it's gone off, ladies and gentlemen. It's gone off. Anyway, so what ended up happening after they got off of Chris and Paige, they couldn't stir him up with her. He was nice, cool, calm, and collective and respectful and apologetic with her. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. He said they went to counseling. There was a moment where he asked if they lived together. They both denied that part. But it was clear that they're not together. So then they decide to bring out Pastor, what's his name? I don't even know.
Dwight.
Pastor Dwight, yes. And man, oh man, Chris got upset because Pastor Dwight said when he corrected Chris and Chris went off, he started cussing and being disrespectful. And offer him out to the parking lot and all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. And Paige stood up. And it's so funny. Y'all editors at Married at First Sight are so disrespectful. They made it look like Paige's booty was like right here to the pastor's face. But if you seen it from a different angle, it really wasn't like that. She just stood up and she was trying to calm Chris down, of course. Because, she thinks somewhere in her mind that she still has some kind of input in his life. Because Chris pays her no attention. But anyway, he cussed out the pastor. So you guys, y'all have to tune in next week. Listen to me. Y'all have to tune in next week for the drama. We still got Jacob and Haley to go. And they probably going to have a sit down with just the men only and then the group together. I don't know. And prayerfully, they do not drag it out for 2 hours because we don't need 2 hours to revisit all of this. But whatever. So, as always, thank you guys for watching our videos. Don't forget to give the video some thumbs up, share us out, comment down below, and hit that bell.
Peace.